He is the very popular host of Overdrive on TSN Radio, Bryan Hayes, with Harvey's Hot Takes. The Buffalo Bills, the road team against the Denver Broncos this weekend. They barely squeaked out a wild card win over the Jags. Their quarterback is severely banged up, as we saw last weekend, and yet they are a slight favorite against the Denver Broncos. So, Bryan Hayes, two questions. Why do you think the Bills are favored, and are you still backing them?
Well, I think they're favored because this feels like a very similar situation to the one we saw last week, Jay, where everyone was talking about Jacksonville, right? They had won 8 in a row, and Trevor Lawrence had figured it out. And, man, that defense is going to maul the Bills' offensive line, and they're going to get after Josh Allen. And now we're going to carry this over to Denver, the same kind of thing, right? Love Denver, love Sean Payton, love where Bo Nix is at. We just saw how that played out. The reality is the Bills' defense is good enough to keep the game close. And if the game's close, the Bills have Josh Allen. So really, that's the core argument for why they're favored is one guy, Josh Allen. And yes, he's banged up, but he's also a freak of nature. And the way he played last week, I fully expect him to not only play like that again, I think he'll just keep getting bigger and better and continue to realize, okay, I'm that much closer to finally winning that Super Bowl. So that's why I think Vegas and FanDuel and others are like, all right, we gotta respect what the Bills just did and apply that logic to Denver. And I think they're right in doing so, because yes, I still believe in the Bills. Yes, I'm going to ride that wave all the way to the finish line. I picked the Bills to win the Super Bowl on this show earlier in the year, and I still think they're the favorites because of what we just saw to Josh Allen. They're down to like 3 wide receivers. Right? We'll figure out who he's going to throw the ball to. It doesn't even matter because, again, I think the Bills' defense has played well enough. That offensive line will hold up. The ball will be in his hand late in Denver, and I think he'll win that game. Then he'll go to either New England or Houston. I think it'll be a very similar situation. And the reality is who he's playing against up until they get to the Super Bowl. And even when they get there, there is not going to be a quarterback, Matt Stafford included, that he would look at and say, I'm afraid of this guy, or that I can't beat if I'm speaking on behalf of Josh Allen. And I know Bo Nix is not going to represent that. I know Drake May and C.J. Stroud most certainly are not, as young guys still trying to figure it out in the league. So I believe in Allen. I believe in the Bills. I didn't believe in that narrative that the Jags would get him last week. I don't believe in the narrative that Denver will get him this week. I'm all over the Bills. I think they keep rolling.
Aaron Rodgers on Monday spoke out in support of his former head coach, Matt LaFleur, of the Green Bay Packers. This related to the fact that LaFleur is reportedly on the hot seat in Green Bay. And you watched what happened Saturday night in Chicago. I know you're a diehard Packers fan, Bryan Hayes. But you've had a couple of days to turn the temperature down in your internal clock and just sort of marinate in all this. So what temperature do you believe Matt LaFleur's seat should be right now in Green Bay?
I think it should be very hot, but I don't believe that it is. I don't think it's in the nature of the Packers and their history. And I do not believe they're going to move off Matt LaFleur. And I don't think if they're going to do that, they're going to go get a guy like, John Harbaugh or Mike Tomlin. That's not how they operate. That's not how they operated when they hired LaFleur, McCarthy, Holmgren. I mean, it's just not the way they're built. And listen, unfortunately, I think the Packers, the organization as a whole and the executive team, they look at it as, sure, we could try to pursue a Super Bowl, and ideally we're going to try to do that. But with Matt LaFleur, it's still good enough. It could be worse. Right? Sure, he's only 3-6 in the playoffs. Sure, they choked away that game against the Bears, not only in the wild card, but also late in the season in Chicago just over a month ago. They had multiple double-digit leads in the second half this year where they lost. He's had a lot of opportunities to prove his coaching, abilities and get them over the top, and he just hasn't done it. But I think the Packers executive will unfortunately look down instead of up. And what I mean by that is they'll say, it could be worse. We could be Miami. Could be the Jets, could be Cleveland, could be Tennessee, right? There's two mentalities. Do you want to go chase greatness and chase Super Bowls? If so, I'm not sure Matt LaFleur can get that job done. Or are you content with just being very consistently good for a long time, which is what they've been under LaFleur? He goes to the playoffs basically every year. I think they'll probably do that again next year. But ultimately, this season ended when Parsons got hurt. When Micah Parsons got hurt and his season was done, the Packers' season was done. Doesn't excuse the choke job on Saturday night. But I did not like the way LaFleur coached. I thought he was the primary reason they lost. Not McManus, not love. Yes, the defense wasn't great, but I didn't like his timeout usage. I didn't like his offensive play calls, especially that first possession in the second half where they could have buried the Bears. LaFleur's got to own it, like a lot of the choke jobs in the past. I think he should be on the hot seat. I don't think he will be. We'll see what happens with the Packers in the future.
So to sum up, Matt LaFleur, he's still good enough. It could be worse. This is Bryan Hayes. This is Harvey's Hot Takes.
Hot Takes is presented by Harvey's. Harvey's 2 for $8 event is back. Enjoy 2 original or veggie flame grill burgers topped just the way you like. Harvey's, it's a beautiful thing.